Welcome back to Beckler Guitars and Repair, and today we got a pretty cool one. This is a 1996 Gibson Explorer. Let's check it out. So I picked this one up locally, and it's in pretty good shape. It came in its giant honking 90s Explorer case, which is gigantic. Let's just measure it here. So yeah, it's 4 feet, 48 inches long, and about 18 inches wide, and about 5 inches thick. So it's a giant case. It's a little beat up, got a little bit of wear up here. We got our 90s Gibson logo, and only 2 buckles on this whole case. It had the lock mechanism here, but that part ripped off. Looks like the bottom still functions. I'm sure you could just buy one of the top parts and fix that up. The handles on these things are just super beefy. They had to be because this thing weighs a lot. And yeah, just super high quality handles. These are really nice cases too. So look inside. And yeah, okay, so the early 90s cases had this like pink towel. It's like the same material as the actual case is made of, and it's quite thick. They switched to like the silk shroud a little later in the 90s, but yeah, it's pretty cool if you can find these cases, especially with this towel intact, because a lot of times they're missing. It looks like one strap has kind of come free there, but the other 2 are holding. And yeah, there it is, the 96 Explorer. The late 90s are kind of considered the golden era of guitars, and it doesn't mean much. It just means that there was some nice wood that they were using at that time, and the fit and finish and quality of these guitars are usually pretty high. Gibson has like good eras and bad eras, and this is considered one of their good eras. Again, you can get good or bad guitars in any era. I think there's just a lot of good ones coming out at this era, people are finding. But yeah, mostly I just judge guitars on an individual basis rather than whether or not they're supposed to be good, depending on a time. But yeah, Explorers are pretty cool. This is a mahogany body and rosewood neck, unbound neck. It's got the acrylic dot inlays, the composite nut, and this hockey stick style headstock with the mother of pearl Gibson logo. Three-way pickup selector, and I believe it's volume tone, but I'll have to double check that. This guitar was sold to me as all original, but we're going to open it up and double check that. So let's have a look at some specs. Weighing in at 9 pounds, 2.9 ounces. And this guitar should have the 490R 500T pickup set, and so far that's in spec for what it's reading. So the bridge is reading a 14.34, and the neck is a 9.0, and in the middle a 5.53. Width at the nut is a 1.68, and at the 12th fret a 2.05. Neck depth at the 1st fret is a 0.80, and at the 12th fret a 0.87. Here's the neck profile. So yeah, just a nice rounded C. It stays fairly rounded even by the 12th fret. And the neck feels a little thinner. I would call this like a slim taper 60s style neck. That's what it feels like. Alright, here's a look at our pickups. So these ones don't have the typical 490 R500T Gibson stamp in the back with the T on there. These are kind of the earlier version. They have the patent number, but they still look proper. So these are the original pickups. And here is our pickup routes. They look nice and clean. There's a little bit of buffing compound in there. It's got a long neck tenon. And this one more of the same. There's no writing on the inside, it looks like. So yeah, everything looks as it should there. I noticed that the bridge likely has been replaced. We've got a made in Germany bridge. I don't know if these were the Schaller bridges were spec in the 90s or not, but regardless, it's a quality bridge. And here's a look at our tailpiece. It's just, it feels like a full weight tailpiece, and there's no markings on the bottom at all. Under the pickguard, we've just got our standard channel route there, and our three-way switch. So yeah, the routes all look clean. And yeah, everything looks as it should there. So here's a look underneath the cavity plate, and everything looks untouched in there too. So all the wiring looks factory. We've got our ceramic disc capacitor there, and our full-size pots. And yeah, everything looks as it should with a nice clean route. Let's have a quick look at the condition. So the headstock's in decent shape. I'm just noticing this now, but it looks like the edge, some of the finish is chipped off here, and it looks like it's been touched up, because that's not bare wood, but it doesn't look like the original. You can definitely see the area where it was chipped away, and it looks like it maybe has been filled with a lacquer fill or something like that. But it looks like it's just the finish, not the wood. So, and our logo is looking good. A little bit of checking on the headstock as well that I didn't really notice anywhere else. Just some finish checking. And our truss rod is looking good. There's like maybe 1 or 2 threads showing, but still lots of room to adjust it. So that's great. And then the neck is super straight right now too, so I did check that. So the truss rod is already nice and tight with a straight neck. And there's our Corian nut. That's the material the nut is made of. And our fingerboard is looking good. It's nice and hydrated. It's a darker board. And there's like almost no visible fret wear at all on this guitar. And the frets are nice and polished. I didn't even have to polish these. They came to me like that. So yeah, it looks good. And as far as the body goes, it's in pretty decent shape. It's got a couple little chips and dings here and there. But yeah, it's just got a couple chips and dings and things. Black guitars kind of show everything. So yeah, some finished scuffing and light surface scratches from wear. And then on the edges we've got a couple little dings here. I think this one's about the worst of it. That looks like it's through the finish and down to the wood a little bit, but it does feel nice and smooth and sealed there. I'm not sure if that's been drop filled or not. Have a look at the back. Over here in the horn there's a little bit more chipping, and there's some buckle worming on the back. You can see that's probably the worst of it there. A little bit more here, but buckle worming, not buckle rash. Nothing through the finish in the back, and a couple little more edge chips here. Throughout the perimeter and the edges there's just a couple worn through spots. But it's honest wear, nothing egregious. And then one more little impression there. And our neck is pretty good. There's no major marks on the neck. Maybe a couple of small impressions you can see just in the finish. And you can sort of feel them with your hand, but very slightly. And then there's a look at our serial number. It's pretty glossed over, which can happen a lot with Gibsons of this era, but the serial number is 93456-730, and it's got the original mini Grovers on there that still work great. Alright, so yeah, pretty nice condition. Let's check the setup. Alright, managed to get a really nice setup on this guitar. So using our notch straight edge, you can see that there's hardly any gap between the notch straight edge and the fingerboard. Just very slight. So that means the neck's set nice and tight, the truss rod, and the neck is nice and straight. And then in the 3rd fret area, when you're using the 3rd fret, you can see that the string is resting almost against that 1st fret. So that tells us that the neck is nice and straight, the truss rod's set tight, and our nut is cut nicely as well. So we've got nice low action in the cowboy chord area. And then at the 12th fret, our action at the low E is about a 1.25, so very low, and a 0.75 at the high E. So I managed to get the action on this even lower than normal. Alright, I'm just going to run up and down the neck just to make sure there's no fretting or buzzing out anywhere. I like to speed up this part, but if you want to hear it in real time, just slow down the player to 25%. So yeah, very low action, lower than usual, with no hint of fretting out or buzzing anywhere. I'd probably get a little lower if I wanted, which is pretty crazy. I haven't had a guitar able to do that in a while now, so yeah, wow, just really nice setup on here. It plays great. The frets are super buff, so it makes it nice and easy to bend. And this guitar is not bound like some Gibsons, so there's a possibility of fret sprout on these guitars, but this one's buttery smooth, nice and smooth with really nice kind of rolled fingerboard edges. It feels really great in the hand here. So yeah, okay, let's go ahead and plug it in and see how it sounds. Alright, so I'm plugged into my 65 Deluxe Reverb reissue, and we're just going to go through the tones here. I'm going to start dirty, and then we'll hear some clean in every pickup position. Let's check it out. Wow, these pickups really sound fantastic. They sound really great, super dirty. I'm using a Z-Vex metal pedal for those really heavy tones, and then I'm just using a standard Germanian overdrive for those more overdriven tones. The overdrive is actually really transparent. So these actually are really awesome pickups. I don't really like the 490R, 498 or 500T pickups usually, but occasionally you just get a really, really nice, well-balanced pair that just sing, and this is one of them. These ones sound great. I'm going to go ahead and try it with a little bit of clean now, kind of opposite to what we usually do. Alright, final thoughts on the 96 Gibson Explorer. Great guitar, really great guitar. I really love how comfortable Explorers are to play. They just really fit in your lap just great, and your arm just kind of rests on that upper part. It's just super comfortable to play just sitting down. And yeah, they look super cool. This one's nice and light for an Explorer for sure. And I don't know, this one just definitely has a vibe to it. It's really resonant, and it sustains great. It really vibrates when you're playing it. You can really feel it in the neck. And yeah, it's super low action. The frets are buffed, so they're really easy to bend and feels really smooth. It intonated perfectly. It holds tune really well. And the pickups sound amazing. Every now and then you come across a set of pickups that kind of stand out, and this set really, really does. Everything I played on it sounded great, despite these not being my favorite style of pickups or model of pickups. These are the 490R 500T pickups, and usually I find them either muddy or a bit harsh, or just something I don't really like about them. But these ones were super articulate and had great highs, great lows, not muddy at all. And just the right amount of growl, like you can really get them to sing with lots of distortion. And they sound great, just overdriven, and you can even get really nice tones clean out of this. So this thing can kind of do it all. It's really, really nice. I also really like the case it comes with. It's huge, it's a tank, but it's super high quality and really plush. It's got really nice interior, and it's still got that big pink towel shroud over top. But yeah, really great guitar. Every time I play an Explorer, I forget how much I like them. And condition-wise, it's in pretty good shape. It's got a couple little dings and doinks throughout, but nothing that affects playability. Frets are still in really good shape. And the neck's in really clean condition, no major dings or anything that affects your playing that way. It's got some buckle worming and a couple little side chips, but it's definitely well worn in. Plays great, and it sounds awesome. If you're interested in this, I'm going to have it up on the Reverb. But that's going to be it for today. Thank you for tuning in to Beckler Guitars and Repair, and I'm going to morph you really soon. Thanks a lot.